Speaking of 7.2, crafted legendaries, also known as the only way that Dex will ever get a legendary.
You're listening to the Goblin Goldcast with Dex and Mac. I got mouths to feed, so let's get this thing started. Time is money, friend.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, Azeroth. You're listening to the Goblin Goldcast, your guide to making gold in World of Warcraft. This is episode 35. I'm your host, Dex, coming to you from Napa, California. With me on Skype is my liquored up co-host, Mac, from Anchorage, Alaska. A man who reminds me of a slinky because his only purpose is to make me smile as he tumbles down the stairs. How you doing, Mac?
For fun, it's a wonderful toy.
I'm always amazed that you have something to say to the joke when you have no preparation, when you don't know it's coming. And I did it in one take.
I know, and it's just amazing that you're actually mirroring something today, because I think you're the one who's been enjoying himself a little bit tonight.
I am not. No. Yeah. I just realized the whiskey early. Sorry.
Yeah, I just realized I should have put a little cozy around this can because it's going to clink every time I hit it on the desk. So, anyways,
that's all right. That's just more editing for me to do later, right? Screw him, make him edit it later. Yeah, so. All right. Well, this week, unlike every other week when we have really meticulous show notes that we follow to the letter, we're going to wing it. I know you're all saying no way, but we're gonna totally do that. So
not those guys, yeah.
We have a few things to talk about, but before we get into all of that little hodgepodge of items on the agenda, why don't we talk about your week?
Oh, the week was great. Once again, I want to thank Constrax for the interview last week. He not only did the interview on the show, but you and I are both complete novices. We've never played the Heroes of the Storm at all to get that new mount. And he actually walked us through that multiple times, which was quite entertaining.
Well, now, for those that don't know, you had to do was it 15 runs
15,
that you had
15.
to? And I remember distinctly there was a moment in it was either run number 6 or 7. There was just a sound in his voice that just said to me, "Oh my God, why did I volunteer to do this?"
And they're drinking. Yeah.
Well, now we did run into a little problem that I don't think was our fault. At one point he said, "Everybody go to the center."
Yes.
And he went to the far left of the map. Am I lying about that?
No, he did. Go to the middle.
Okay. And I had to remind him that we live in the United States, and what is center to him is definitely left to us.
It was definitely. I was like, go to the middle, and it's like I see you over there on the left on the map. Oh yeah. That's what I meant. It's like. Do what I do, not what I say. Yeah.
I think it was for the next 2 or 3 runs that we went through. Every time he would say to go left or right, we would question him on.
But no, he was great. He ran us through. Over a couple-day period. He helped multiple people in different. In Death by Chocolate, he helped some of the guys over in the guild over there do that. He spent a lot of time helping the community out, getting that Flamesaver mount.
Oh, he did. Besides us, there were a number of people that he helped. But I thought it was pretty funny because he's the type of guy, when he's helping you out, he's real supportive to let you know that you're doing a great job and you can do it, and real cheerleader as far as that goes. And I distinctly remember him saying, "Dex, you're doing awesome. You're doing great. You're doing awesome," because I was, for the first time hitting the right mob that I was supposed to hit. And so evidently it was like a huge improvement that I was making.
In the back, he's sitting there going, "Thank God, finally."
Well, because he did tell us, he said, "Yeah, it'll take about 4 to 6 minutes per run."
20 minutes later, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he believed us when we told him that we really knew nothing about this game that we were about to play. I did try to tell him, if you're thinking 4 to 6 minutes for the average person, you better allow 15 minutes for us. But I don't think he believed us.
And that's just discussing it before we go in. And then we had my internet completely borked out on me.
Yeah.
We were in the middle of starting it, and you guys got one run in while I was back here going, I may not be able to get back on the internet.
Right. Well, I needed to catch up anyway because you guys on the previous day continued on for a couple of matches after I had to call it a night. I think it was like 5 a.m. my time or something, and
you had to get kids to school the next day.
I had to get up like 2 hours later, and I was not doing very well. But for those of you out there that play Heroes of the Storm, there's something that I don't understand that maybe somebody can write in and explain to me. And I'm going to make a joke about something, but I honestly don't get this. There was one match, they give an MVP at the end, and of course 9 times out of 10 it wasn't any of us. They give an MVP to AI and stuff like that. But Matt got the MVP, and then when it showed the stats, it showed him as MVP, and it showed that he made 1 kill.
Oh, I was the healer, yeah.
And then it showed me as, also ran. He was this other guy just.
He got the participation trophy, yeah.
I did get a participation trophy, and it mentioned that I had a string of 21 hero kills in a row or something like that, right? And I honest to God, I said, wait a minute, and you're the MVP for that? And then he pointed out that he was the healer. And then, of course, I had to point out that the reason why it wasn't 22 hero kills in a row was because I didn't get a flipping heal the entire time. But, I don't want to... anyway.
But that healing cooldown takes a little bit, I had to look between all of the other players and I was just completely inept. So,
well, I remember getting the 15th victory and saying, "Wow, this was awesome. Let's never do this again." And we haven't. So I had my mount. I mounted up on it one time, I think, and I'll probably never see it again. But it's a number.
No, it's a cool looking mount, and I just wanted to once again, Constrax, great guy, very, very helpful to a lot of people, and we appreciate it.
And he put up with a lot from us, and when I say us, I mean me. I kind of put him through his paces a little bit, and there were probably a couple of times that he probably thought. To himself, Dex, you're not as funny as you think you are.
Yeah,
but
the guys in like Death by Chocolate, the guild over there, and it's like these guys really are like that all the flipping time.
Well, okay, since you mentioned Death by Chocolate, these are probably the only guys that listen to the show that don't think that the whole legendary thing is a bit. And they thought it was a bit. I'm sure they thought it was a bit, that it was just like a comedy thing back and forth. And they're probably sitting back thinking, oh, yeah, right, Dex, sure you haven't gotten a legendary. Sure. Oh, yeah, and sure Mac has all these legendaries on all these characters. I'm really sure that that's actually happening. And then you join their guild and they got to see it in action. So at least there is one guild in all of World of Warcraft that knows that when I say that there's something bizarre going on when it comes to you and legendaries, they believe me. So, so I got that going for me.
Well, the other thing that happened this week is I sold one Sky Golem on one realm, and then Mrs. Mac was talking with us on in chat, and she was like, well, I don't have a Sky Golem. I really want one. And so I decided I was going to not make gold on that tune this month, and I decided to give her a Sky Golem. So I had her come out. It's it's the realm I don't play on that often, so it's just one I make gold for to have if I want to transfer a battle pet or something. If I see something that's on the auction house for sale on that server. Anyways, so I had her come over there. I gave her the Sky Golem so she could have it across all of her characters, and we were talking about it later. I said, well, honey, that was a pay for play sort of thing. And she's like,
I was going to say, I hope you got her working that off.
oh, well, I said it was going to be a pay for play, and she goes, yeah, you can play World of Warcraft all you want. I said, that's not what I meant. She goes, but you can play World of Warcraft all you want. So,
yeah,
my life.
See, I don't have to deal with that. I don't have to deal with my wife, popping on the game and saying, "Ooh, that's a pretty mount. Do you have see, how much is it? Do you have 3 million gold you can loan me so I can buy that really pretty mount?" I don't have to deal with that.
No. She's well worth it.
But
and
at
I can
least
play
you
whenever
have
I
one
want.
for yourself now, though, right?
I do.
Yeah,
I do. I saw one in the auction house that was for sale at a lot cheaper than I sold mine. It was like, I'm ahead this month. I'll just buy it off this guy here. So yeah. I actually bought one, even though I make them. I bought one. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, no, it's for you it does.
Well, the one I was gonna use in the other server, I was gonna give to myself, but I gave it to me wife.
And see, if you guys were on the same Battle.net account, that wouldn't even matter. You'd both have it.
No.
You could have just had one.
She used to occasionally let the grandson play on her Battle.net account, and I've seen what happens there. So no.
I was gonna say that's puzzling to me. I mean, if my wife played World of Warcraft, we'd be on the same Battle.net account. I would. I wouldn't want to have to buy all those mounts for her. I'd rather have her have access to the ones I already have. So that's just. I'd have to make room because my Battle.net is completely full. I had to start another Battle.net when I was doing Recruiter Friends. So.
Well, there you go.
Anyway.
So how was your week this week in the?
This week, I played more this week than I probably have in the last month and a half. I had my first week in a long time that I got to have some real solid play. Kept my emissary quest knocked out and everything, and really put the time in and everything. Did I mention that I didn't get a legendary still? and not only did I not get a legendary this entire week, every time I finished an emissary quest and I opened up the little chest. I'm not expecting orange text, in the chat window. I'm not expecting to see the orange text. But I am kind of hoping that maybe I see something pop into there that's at least an upgrade to what I have now. I don't have great gear. I mean, it doesn't take much for me to get an upgrade, and everything that I get is about 10 item levels below what I already have. It's been a long time since I've got an item that was an upgrade. So I don't know. I have the worst luck when it comes to those things, but I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes. I understand we had some emails, and we do have to offer a bit of an apology. We intended to cover some emails on the previous podcast, but because we had the interview, we felt that we would run really late if we did that, and so we kind of pushed it off to today's episode.
Yeah, so but, I normally respond to emails within a day or so of them kept hitting the email, and right. I responded and said we would talk about it on this week's podcast, which was last week's podcast. Right. And did not get to it. Sorry, guys. We'll handle it this week.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do we got in that regard?
Well, I'll go with the first one, and we're going to kind of we'll read this one, respond to a couple questions he has there, and then we'll read the other one. Then we'll continue on from there.
Okay.
First one, it says, Mac and Dex, thanks to the podcast, guys, doing an awesome job. Recently found you guys and binge listened until I caught up. And Mrs. Mac's like, why would you listen to him for that many hours at a time?
Somebody voluntarily listened to us for how many hours? There was no gun involved to anybody's head or anything like that. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. Anyways, it says, I'm wondering what route to take for gold making. I have around 800k on my main tune from the craziness that was Garrisons and WOD, and I'm wondering how to maximize my time in a game. Okay. My main focus in game is raiding and mythics and dungeons, and would like to spend no more than an hour a day on gold making activities, which is reasonable.
Right.
I'll be playing on one server only, as Legion is not overly alt-friendly, which, yes, it is not. I now have about 8 level 110s, and I know from personal experience myself it takes a long time to get that many of them.
It's a lot to keep up with if you're keeping the quest, down and everything.
Jimmy to Christmas. And 4 level 100s, and I've done virtually nothing but level the 110s and left them sitting at that point. My main tune is Herbing and Mining, so straight gathering is an option, but I'm also interested in making sky golems as well. I have one of each profession to 700, or whatever the WOD max was, and that was 700.
Right.
And I'm open to changing whatever professions I need, as I suppose it would take to do the sky golem production. Mm-hmm. I'm also interested in getting the TSM add-on working and possibly flipping mats in the auction house. That may be a bit advanced for me, though. It's too advanced for me, so I'm still using TSM basics there. Sorry.
Right.
I'm now keeping up with the Lazy Goldmaker site, and Lazy is awesome. He's got some great information on TSM.
Right.
And see that he posts his TSM profiles and spreadsheets for all to see. I would like to start with lower risk stuff and work my way up. I'm also open to spending more than 1 hour cap in the beginning to get something set up. Feel free to use my real name or toon name on the podcast. Keep up the good work. Corey Case, Hawkeyes on Malganis, I'm sorry, Orc Hunter. Well, he plays a hunter, and he's the right Game to Christmas. We'll cut that out. He's Horde. There we go.
He's the right faction.
Right faction. Jamie to Christmas.
I thought you've been preaching to me that there is no right faction. You were just saying the other day, you need to be more inclusive. I was just talking to my therapist about that yesterday.
There's nothing wrong with playing Alliance. I do play Alliance. But
yeah.
My mains are the Horde.
Well, it sounds like he's got a nice start. Warlords was very good to a lot of us and gave us a lot of options to sit around and just hit a couple of buttons every day and just collect our cash. But
well, he says he's interested in making sky golems, and I know we joke about the sky golems here on this show a lot, and there is a lot more competition than when we first started talking about it.
Yeah.
You say you have at least one of each profession up to 700, and that's all you need for the sky golems. My guys on Whisperwind, none of them are higher than level 92, and I make a sky golem every month on that server.
Yeah, it's old content.
Yeah, old content, not hard to do. What I do personally is, and we talked about this early on in the podcast, is we set up that farm at Half Hill. Mm-hmm. You go talk to Farmer Yoon, do your dailies out there until you have a 16 plot farm.
Yeah.
You can get onto Wowhead. They'll be able to discuss how to
on all of his alts. He wants to do that on all of them. He wants to take them all through.
Right. Well, do, if you're going to do one sky golem a month, if you'll need one engineer and two guys doing the farm. If you're going to do 2 sky golems a month, you'll need 2 engineers at what is it, 500, 600?
Did he say if he'd played Miss Pandaria at all?
I don't know.
Because he may already have his faction up and all of that. We don't know as far as that goes. What my feeling is this: if you're going to go to all the trouble of knocking out that faction, first of all, you get one of them through the faction, and you can kind of shortcut the faction on your your alts, which is what I did. But once you have it all set up. Going in there and doing the farm every day, it on all your tunes doesn't really take that much time to do. And if he's willing to change around some professions, he should figure out how many of his tunes he's going to be able to switch to engineering and make that many sky golems per month, because you're on each tune you're going to be able to make one per month. one of the things that he didn't mention in there is how much gold he's looking to get as a return on that 1 hour per day investment.
Right.
I know that he had mentioned himself that he understands that setup is going to be more than an hour per day. In the beginning, when you're getting all this in place, it's going to take you a little bit longer to get everything set up and ready to go. Running all the faction quests and all that. And if he's willing to invest that time to get a few alts through, it can be a significant amount of, a significant difference in the amount of gold that he makes.
Right. You also want to check your auction house and see how many people are selling. On Dalaran, I'll tell you, for me, making more than one a month, I'm just going to be dropping the price. With as much competition as there is in the auction house, the price is just, it's still not where it was at the, as low as it was before this expansion came out, but the price has been dropping quite a bit.
Right.
And if you're making 4 or 5 a month, you're going to bring the price down. Like I said, I make about one a month on each server that I'm on. For every Sky Golem I use 2 guys to do the farm with the snake root every day. That'll supply 1 engineer, and if you then you just need an alchemist that has the transmute to be able to make living steel, and you do that once a day. So you have your engineer make a jards once a day, and you have your alchemist do the living steel once a day, and you've got your mats to make 1 Sky Golem a month. And again, you can multiply that however many times you want to do that every month, depending on how much you want to work at getting that profession up to that right level.
Right. Now, he could also do what I do with mine. Now, I have 7 engineers set up to make Sky Golems. And in all honesty, because of the limited amount of time that I've been putting through, I haven't in recent weeks been keeping up on all of them. But when I was doing it, for instance, when I was doing like 3 or 4, which I was in the beginning, I didn't put 4 Sky Golems for sale all at the same time. Certainly,
right.
I would stagger them, and so I would sell. If I was making 4, I would sell 1 per week. So every week I'm putting 1 up. Now back in the day when that was happening, they were going for about 45, 46K on my server. They're going for a lot more now, but there's also more competition now.
Right.
So, one per week, I think is pretty easy to do, but you just want to stagger them. Even if you have 4 that you've made simultaneously, don't put them all for sale at once. Sell 1, then sell the next, and the next, like that.
And when you're doing that farm, to do that farm, to put the seeds out there and do the farm, cultivate it once a day on 2 tunes, that takes less than 10 minutes. So you've still got, if you want to spend an hour a day making gold, you've only spent 10 minutes of your time at the most. So I think I spend it's maybe 6 minutes. I've got it down to a science. So just go through there, boom, 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 I'm out.
Well, they fixed the plow now, so that you can knock a little bit, especially if you're doing it on multiple tunes. That's going to knock out a little bit of time. If they could only fix the stubborn weed, then we'd be in good shape.
That stubborn weed wastes more of my time than anything else in that. That's where it sometimes takes me 10 minutes.
I almost get the shovel and just kill that one and just replant it. I swear to God, it's like every time I'm thinking, why don't I just roll the dice and see if I get something else on that.
So for Sky Golems, I think we've got that down. For flipping mats in the auction house, flipping things in the auction house, the Lazy Goldmaker, I think he's got some great information there.
Well, I do want to say one more thing on the Sky Golems.
Sure.
More on the half-hill farm than anything else. When you check your realm and you see, okay, how many people are selling Sky Golems, be smart about it. Take a look and see. And if you see 15 Sky Golems for sale, okay, and they're all undercutting each other by a copper or whatever, and it's just some kind of crazy madhouse going on, you might want to rethink it. You might want to think, well, you know what? I could do the half-hill farm, but instead of doing that, why don't I be the supplier for the people that are making the Sky Golems, and why don't I just make living steel and just sell the living steel? You cut out a step. You no longer care about the 30 days it takes to make a Sky Golem, And now you're just moving your living steel as you make it, and you won't make as much gold, but you won't invest as much time either. So you want to kind of make a judgment call and see, okay, how saturated is it, and if there are that many people doing it, odds are somebody is buying their living steel, because it's in my experience, the normal situation, believe it or not, is not people doing the half hill farm and then making the sky golems. The normal situation is people farming their ghost iron in Jade Forest or something like that, and then converting it and doing all of that. But here's the problem with that. People that are doing that and they're sending their miner out to Jade Forest, some days, rating schedule, whatever, work schedule, your schedule at home with the kids or whatever, life happens, and crap, I wasn't able to go and get enough ghost iron today to make my living steel or what have you, and I don't have it. You can put together packages of ghost iron in bars in stacks of 10 for people that are lazy, and charge a bunch for it. And so you can be the supplier to these people that are all cramming up together on the auction house and trying to sell their sky golem. It might be a better case to be the only guy that's doing the right stack sizes to supply them if they're getting lazy.
Right. Well,
So,
I know. I've got
call.
with my I've got a transmutation alchemist, and I've always got extra living steel. I just let it stack up until I've got enough to put 30 on the auction house. I mean, aside from making my sky golem every month, and I'll put a stack of 30 up there at a premium price, and there's good gold there as well. Yeah, so you're right.
Yeah. It's all and we've talked about this before. It's all in the stack size. If you have the right stack size for something, you really want to pay attention with your mats. What are people using these mats that I'm putting up for sale in the auction house? What are they being used for? Look at the recipes, look closely, and see how many of that item are required. And if you make those perfect little stacks, even if your price is a little higher, there's something that will click in the person's brain. A lot of people, they're just programmed to, the item that I'm making takes 7 of this item. Everybody's got them in stacks of 10 except for this guy. He's got it in 7. Yeah, it's a little bit more than the guy that's got it in stack of 10, but I don't have to buy 3 more than what I need. And they'll buy from you. And so, it's one of those rare times when you don't have to be the cheapest to sell yours first. And I know we've mentioned it a few times, but to me, it's a nice little piece of magic to pull off. It's awesome, especially if you're the highest price in the auction house and you sell first. That's better than, well, never mind. I was going to say it was better than something that's not better than, but I don't want to overstate things, so I'm not going to say that.
Anyways, well, let me go on to email number 2 for this week, or we're going to run out of time.
Okay.
So this is from GameBro1989. He does email us quite a bit. Says, "Hey guys, what's up? This has been bugging me for a while. What exactly is the term keeping part of what you make liquid gold? I know the buy low, sell high means getting mats that will make a profit. What I do is buy the very cheap flasks and potions, or find someone to make me a few stacks of flasks or potions and wait for the reset and sell them. I also gather mats for bags and sell them for 5% below current price at that time. So far, I've put about 50K. I've put in about 50K and made it back in about 2 or 3 days, which is great. Am I doing it wrong or just being dumb? No, you're making gold. As long as you're making gold, that's the important thing.
Right.
But when we're talking about keeping part of what we're back for in liquid gold, basically what we're talking about there is having liquid gold in case you see something that is normally sold for a high. It's normally a high-end item that's sold for a lot less, and you've got gold to be able to purchase that item and maybe flip it on the auction house.
Right. It comes from in the real world. how much of your cash is in liquid form, uninvested. So uninvested is what it means. So I could maybe have a whole bunch of stacks of Starlight Rose that's worth, a whole lot of gold. That's not liquid gold. That is an investment that I made. Liquid gold would be the gold amount that it shows, when I open up my bag or I look at my bank and I see how much gold that I have, gold on hand. So that's available capital that you have to invest. It doesn't count anything that you have gold invested into. That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, it's just something. If you see something that's normally selling for $200K and you see somebody selling it for $100K, it's like snatch it up. I do that with items where I'll see amounts that normally sell for a high amount. If I see one that's selling for 20 or 30% lower, 40% lower in the auction house, and there aren't a bunch of people in a bidding war on that item, I'll snatch it up and throw it back in the auction house.
Right.
And having that available gold to be able to do that, nothing sucks worse than seeing something and going, oh crap, I bought such and such yesterday if I'd have just had a little extra gold on me.
Yeah.
So
there's actually one thing that sucks worse than that, and that's the other reason why you want to keep a lot of liquid gold. Mac just mentioned that yes, you can have missed opportunity to where something pops up and you just don't have the gold available to take advantage of an opportunity that's happening for a limited time. It sucks to be overinvested when something like that happens. But what's worse than that is if you invest all of your gold in something and do what's called, putting all your eggs in one basket, where you heavily invest to where you got 90% of your gold invested in something and it goes belly up. It's the reason why money managers won't let you put all of your gold won't let you put all of your money into one stock on the stock exchange. It's the reason why mutual funds exist. Mutual funds are a basket of investments that are collected up together. I don't want to get too far into the weeds, but the general idea is it's to limit your exposure to possible loss. And in the investment world, your age is very important for that. If you're a young guy, say in your 20s, you don't have to be as risk averse, and you can take some chances, and you can be more heavily invested in one particular investment, one particular thing, and roll the dice and maybe have a big win and take a big risk. But if you're about ready to retire, you really don't want to take a bunch of risks because you do not have the time to recover from that. Well, in World of Warcraft, those same factors don't play a part, but you certainly can miss out on possible investments and make mistakes. Like let's say you decided you wanted to put all your gold into Fellbat pets because some idiot on a podcast told you that was going to be just a really great thing to have a bunch of, and let's say the co-host on that was telling the guy who's let's say his name was Jack, and let's call the other guy Vex. Was telling him, no, you don't want to put all of your gold into Fellbat pets because, anyway. But you get the picture. You can invest in something that cannot go as planned, or can take a lot longer to pan out. Even if something isn't a bust, if the return takes a little longer than what you expected, do you really want to be out of every other market for that entire time because you have nothing to invest? And I don't think you do.
I don't know why this reminded me of that. One of the investments we made over Halloween was spending some time getting this coin of many faces. Yeah. I have had so much fun with that. My demon hunter the other day, I was out doing the farm in Halfhill, and I hit the coin of many faces, and I became a Pandarian.
Yeah.
But I found out when you double jump and hit the glide, you still have the little demon hunter wings that pop out. It is the coolest look. I was in the Demon Hunter class hall, running around, and there as a Pandarian, and they're like all these weird looks from people.
Everybody's like, reported for hacking. I'll never forget that. I had people actually during doing Recruit a Friend, when I was doing the level granting. I would always, some people would go into a secluded area and do the level granting because they don't want people to know that their character didn't earn all those levels that they were granted. They're worried about what people think or whatever. No, not me. I go into the auction house in Ogremar or something like that. And it's like, let's grant them all here. And then people flip out. It's like, what are you doing? How are you doing that? How are you cheating? How are you doing that? And it'd be like, oh yeah, man, you gotta get this add-on that lets you do this, man. It's like, so I'm trolling people left and right for things like that. That's half the fun. Anyway.
So that has been a decent investment, and I have made a decent amount of gold on those. But the looks I get, I mean, I
haven't sold mine yet.
Oh, I've got a bunch, but I've still got a few that I'm holding on to because I'm hoping to sell them for a little more here in another couple of months.
Hey, I'll trade you some Fellbat pets for them. I'm just saying, I got like 30 of them in the bank that I'm not doing anything with.
I think I still got about 2 bags full of them. But I think I was buying mine for a lot less than you were buying yours.
Yeah, you were because they were going for it. Well, I only paid like 300 gold a piece for mine, 250, 300 gold, but you were paying like 100.
79, I think is where I got.
That's ridiculous.
So
you can already make a profit off of yours.
Yeah, I can make a profit off them. The other thing about when we talked about having all your eggs in one basket, with the 7.2, they've started its download now. Mm-hmm. I've got a ton of Goblin gliders that I'm worried the price is going to drop.
Yeah.
When flying becomes available in 7.2.
I don't think that'll happen at all because when 7.2 comes out, you're going to get the second half of what's required for flying. And one of the things that's in there is a brand new faction that doesn't even exist yet that you're going to have to get You're going to have to get revered, I think, with them or something like that. I don't know. But there's a new faction.
There we go.
And so I don't think it's not going to happen immediately, and two, don't forget back in Warlords how many people well into the expansion did not have flying.
It's funny.
And I think you were one of them.
I still don't have the flying in Warlords.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, I came in too late to the scene. It was like, I got to make as much gold as I can right now. I didn't have the time or I didn't spend the time investing to do that. And then Legion dropped. And then it was like, well, I'm in Legion, and I haven't gone back to start doing that. So that's...
Well, I did the math on it, and when I went to go do it, it was after most people had already probably done it because I skipped out on a lot of that expansion. But when I went to do it, my thing was, all right, I got like 30 alts that are going to be able to take advantage of this. So I have to do it on one character, and I've got it. So because of that, it was well worth it for me. It's going to be the same situation with Legion. It's going to be well worth it.
Oh yeah.
The gold making opportunities are going to be huge in the beginning. But speaking of 7.2, crafted legendaries, also known as the only way that Dex will ever get a legendary. These are coming out in 7.2, and it looks like leather crafting will have 2, and smithing will have 1, and tailoring will have 1. So each armor type will have 1 crafted legendary is what it appears to be. And the interesting thing about this that we discovered just before recording the podcast actually is right now data mining them, it's showing that they are level 101. I see data mining, our high tech data mining that we do by going to Wowhead and looking. But they're showing level 101 as being the required level and tradable.
Yeah, buy not equip. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm looking at that, and my first thought was not, oh, cool, I can make it on one character and give it to another character. No, my first thought was, oh, So I'm going to be making some expensive twink gear and selling it on the auction house. So,
yeah, we'll see if it actually is. I mean, we know when the patch drops, things will change.
Oh yeah, it might change totally. But if it stays the way it is, what has two thumbs and is going to make a lot of gold off of that?
Yeah.
This guy.
This guy. Yeah.
So yeah, crafted legendaries. I will definitely have one for myself, just so I can say I got one. Wow.
Even if he has to spend 3 million gold to buy
now
one.
Tell everybody what you complained about when you saw the details of the legendaries. You had a little complaint about the crafted legendary and how it won't help you.
Well, they're only level 1. Oh, you're talking about the one where there was the belt that I already have. Yeah. It was a downgrade. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've already got a legendary belt, and you actually had the nerve to complain to me that I wouldn't be able to use this legendary because one of the many legendaries that I already have is a belt.
Did I tell you I got my third one on my druid? I can only use 2 of.
I hate you with the heat of 1,000 suns. Just so you know, it's revenge is coming. Speaking of revenge coming, BlizzCon was announced.
Yes.
And
tickets are going on sale here in April.
Yep, April 5th and 8th, isn't it?
At 7 p.m. on the 5th and 10 a.m. on the 8th. I believe that's Pacific time.
Yeah, they always do Pacific time. But yeah, it's and BlizzCon itself will take place on November 3rd and 4th, and typically the day before, sometimes 2 days before, you've got the con before the storm. So it's kind of a podcasting little thing that they have before BlizzCon.
Yeah, last year was Con Before the Storm.
Yeah,
and the day before that, Ponecast did DitchCon.
Right.
So.
Right. We are planning on attending. The way the plan sits right now is Mac is going to fly out here. He's going to probably fly into Sacramento or San Francisco, whichever works out, and I will pick him up, and we will make the road trip out to Anaheim.
He'll ditch me at the airport, and
we'll see how that goes, because last time I picked him up at the airport, for those of you that don't know, we drive a little faster here in California than he does back in Alaska. So it was a bit of an experience on the freeway. He's like, they're driving 80. I said, yeah, I know, man. I wonder why they don't hurry up.
It's not the speed, it's the amount of cars.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think what I said was, oh my God, I can't believe I drove my motorcycle on this stuff when I was in the Navy down here.
Yeah, you've grown soft. It's like one of the only things that you can move from California to Alaska and grow soft about is the traffic. You're not attuned to it anymore.
Oh my
God. You're going to be able to share the driving?
I think so. I mean,
so?
When we were down
my wife is worried about you doing part of the driving. She said, how are you going to be driving the whole way? I said, oh, no. Mac will share the driving with me. And
yeah, I'm
she
fine.
said,
Just
in California?
Give me a beverage? No, I'm kidding. They don't think that's very funny down there.
That's actually illegal here.
Yeah, they don't think that's very funny up here either. Don't do that.
We do not condone that. Just for the record.
Yes. We don't condone that. I was just being funny. Not some people don't think it's so funny. We drove down there. You had a business you opened up down there, and I would drove there every day for a long time. You even had a blowout on the.
You had a blowout on the freeway.
I had a blowout on the freeway at about 75 and dealt with it.
Yeah.
I think it was all the other drivers were like, oh my God.
Oh man! So what we will do is we will go down, and if they do DitchCon again, we'll make it in for that. We'll definitely be there for a con before the storm, and we will have to see how successful we are in getting tickets to BlizzCon. I've been before. I've been once before, and all the other times I've gotten it on the live stream or DirecTV or however they presented it at the time.
And I have never been.
And Mac has never been. It'll be a new experience for. He's going to freak out when he sees how long the line is to get in the door. For those of you that have been to BlizzCon, oh my God. It's just like when you're walking like a mile and a half to get to the end of the line.
I was in the military. I've seen long lines.
Well, I was not in the military, and this was soul crushing until the doors opened up and I saw how fast it moved. I have to say the line moved really quickly. So that was a good thing.
So I don't have to bring my camping gear, right?
You don't have to bring your camping gear, but what we are planning on doing is we are planning on recording a podcast while we're there. We figure that, depending on how many days we're there, it might end up being a two-parter. But we're going to record, what's going on, and we figure that the new expansion will probably be announced. That makes sense. Probably have the real early information on that, which, from what I understand, is probably going to be a continuation of Legion, where we're going to, I don't know, go to the planet and deal with these bad people.
That was supposed to happen this expansion.
Is that happening this expansion?
That's happening this expansion.
I'm not a lore guy. I am so not a lore guy. People are going, and so, I can't believe so-and-so's going to died and
yeah.
I'm like, who was that?
Well, Dex was impressing us with his knowledge until he did that last little bit. Yeah.
I know nothing about the lore, so, and I don't claim to. I'm the guy that they're like, can you believe that he got the middle name of the King of Stormwind wrong? He didn't know. He got it right, but he misspelled it. Can you believe that?
I can't spell my own name half the time. So
it's Alfred, for those of you that are wondering.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's going to about wrap up this week's show. I'd like to thank Schaefer Bates for his awesome work as the Goblin voice at the beginning of each show. Also, Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com for a theme music hot rock licensed under Creative Commons.
And if you'd like to get a hold of us, you can contact us at Mac, that's M-A-C, at GoblinGoldcast.com, or Dex, that's D-E-X, at GoblinGoldcast.com. If you can't reach us at our main email, we have an alternate email, MacGoblinGoldcast at gmail.com. You can contact us at Twitter at Goblin Goldcast, or you can visit us on Facebook.
And don't forget to visit the swag store at cafepress.com/Goblin Goldcast. And you can leave us a voicemail on our website, GoblinGoldcast.com. And please subscribe to us on iTunes or Stitcher if you listen to us there.
And we'll see you next week.
Now go make some gold.
It's Slinky, for fun it's a wonderful toy. What walks downstairs alone or in pairs and makes a slinkity sound. A spring, a marvelous thing. Everyone knows it's Slinky. It's Slinky, for fun it's a wonderful toy. It's fun for a girl and a boy. It's fun for a girl and a boy.
Get a Slinky in a size and color you like, in metal or plastic.